Okay, so now we're moving on to Hinduism. And Hinduism is not one religion, but many related beliefs and innumerable sects. In the mid-6th century, a rock-cut cave temple devoted to the major Hindu god Shiva was carved on the island of Elephanta. And that's what I'm showing you here. So this is from the mid-6th century in India. So it's really quite amazing how it was just carved right into the rock. Impressive in its size and layout, the cave temple's interior is designed along two main axes, one running north-south and the other east-west. The third entrance provides the only source of light, and the resulting cross and backlighting effects add to the sense of the cave as a place of mystery, almost confusing complexity, not unlike Shiva himself. This is another image of Shiva, eternal Shiva. A huge bust of the deity represents his eternal Shiva, is carved out of the cave wall. 3 heads are shown in resting upon the broad shoulders of the upper body, but 5 heads are implied, the 4th behind the face of the stone, the 5th never depicted on top. The heads summarize Shiva's 5 unfolding nature as creator, which is located on the back, protector, located on the left, destroyer, located on the right, observer, located on the front, and releaser, located on the top. Southeast Asia, if we move into this area, Buddhism spread rapidly across Asia. About 800 in Java, we find Buddhism, and we see this temple. The builders turned a natural hill into a 3-stepped platform, measuring more than 400 feet across and oriented to the 4 cardinal directions, meaning east, west, north, south. So really amazing that, this was a hill and it was just carved into this temple. Among the cultures of the world, China is distinguished by its long, uninterrupted development, which has been tracked back some 8,000 years. Even more remarkable, while only a few breaks unified since 221 BCE, geographically, China is notable for its size, occupying a landmass slightly larger than the continental United States. And so here we're moving into the Bronze Age. Agriculture based on rice and millet arose independently in Asia before 5000 BCE. One of the clearest signs of the Neolithic culture in China is the various emergences of towns and cities. In the Bronze Age, China erected its Bronze Age in the 2nd millennia BCE. And the first group of people we're going to look at is the Shang. Shang kings ruled from a succession of capitals in the Yellow River Valley, where archaeologists have found walled city palaces and vast royal tombs. Society seems to have been highly stratified, with a ruling group that possessed the bronze technology needed to make weapons. They maintain their authority in part by claiming power as intermediaries between supernatural and human realms, nature and fertility spirits that were also honored, and regular sacrifices were made to keep the spirits of the dead ancestors vital so that they might help the living. Bronze vessels, such as the one I'm showing you here, are the most admired and studied of the Shang artifacts. They were connected with ritual practices, serving as containers for offerings of food and wine. The bronze Fang Ding is one of hundreds of vessels recovered at the royal tomb near the last of the Shang capitals, Yin. Around 1100 BCE, the Shang were conquered by the Zhou from western China. During the Zhou dynasty, 1100 to 221 BCE, a feudal system was developed. Many of Chinese great philosophers lived during the Zhou dynasty. Thinkers such as Confucius, who lived from 551 to 479 BCE. Looking back to the early Zhou dynasty as a golden age, Confucius thought about how a just and harmonious society could once again emerge. He never found a ruler who would put his ideas into effect, but his philosophy of Confucianism eventually became the center of Chinese thought and culture. Towards the middle of the 3rd century BCE, the state of Qin launched military campaigns that led to its triumph over the Chinese state by 221 BCE. For the first time, China was united under a single ruler, and the powerful Shu Hongdi became emperor. Intent on ensuring personal immortality, his becoming the first emperor of Qin, built his own underground mausoleum, which I started off this week showing you. So here's another example of the soldiers that he built out of clay with the horses. And again, these are life-size. And there are thousands of these. So it is really, really quite amazing. The part of the tomb has still not been excavated. And we're not 100% sure, but there is like this writing about the inner part of the chamber where Emperor Shu Hongdi is actually buried. What's important about the emperor is that he established a single state, and the country then was divided into provinces. A writing system and coinage were standardized, and forts on the northern frontier were connected to form the earliest Great Wall. During the peaceful and prosperous Han Dynasty that followed, 206 BCE to 220 CE, the country's borders were extended and secured. Chinese control over static stretches of Central Asia led to the opening of the famous Silk Road that linked China by trade all the way to Rome. The philosophies of Taoism and Confucianism flourished. Taoism emphasizes the close relationship between humans and nature. It is concerned with bringing the quiet and humble individual into harmony with the Tao, or way of the universe. A popular Taoist legend tells of the Isles of Immortality in the Eastern Sea, and this is depicted on the bronze incense burner that I show you here. I will move this so you can see it better. And I'm sorry, it's a tiny bit blurry. But this is coming from the Han Dynasty. So around the bowl, gold inlay outlines the stylized waves of sea. Above them raise the mountainous islands crowded with birds, animals, and people who have discovered the secrets of immortality. This visionary world would have been shrouded in the shifting mists of the incense when the burner was in use. In contrast to the metaphysical focus of Taoism, Confucianism is concerned with the human world, and its goal is the attainment of equality. To this end, it proposes an ethical system based on reverence and ancestors and correct relationships among people. Attracted by this emphasis on social order and respect for authority, the Han Emperor Wu Di, who ruled from 141 to 87 BCE, made Confucianism the official philosophy. It remained the state ideology of China until the end of the imperial rule in the 20th century, and eventually assumed the form of force of a religion. Confucius subjects appear frequently in Han art. Among the most famous examples are the low reliefs from the Wu family shrine built in 151 CE. Oops. Carved and engraved on stone slabs, the scenes were meant to teach such basic Confucius tenets as respect for the emperor, piety, or wifely devotions. Nothing of the Han architecture survives, but we do have ceramic models, like I'm showing you here. And this would have been a house. And notice how it's actually 7 stories tall. So it's quite amazing for this time period to have this kind of structure. With the fall of the Han Dynasty in 220 CE, China splintered into independent warring kingdoms. This launched a period of almost constant turmoil, broadly known as the period of North and South dynasties, 265 to 589 CE. Many intellectuals turned to Taoism, which contained a strong escapist element. Yet ultimately it was Buddhism that brought the greatest comfort to people of the time. First spreading from India into Central Asia, with the increased transportation of people, goods, and ideas along the Silk Road during the Han Dynasty, Buddhism eventually reached China. To the Chinese of the post-Han period, beset by constant warfare and social devastation, Buddhism offered consolation in life and a promise of afterlife. The most impressive surviving work of Buddhist art from the period of the Northern and Southern dynasties are hundreds of cave carvings of solid rocks of cave, and they are huge. So I was thinking of that in my head. Here we go. They are very large. The monumental seated Buddha carved in the later half of the 5th century is what I'm showing you here. The image of Buddha became increasingly formal and unearthly as it traveled east from its homeland.